Welcome to Paranormal Northwest, a podcast all about the history and the paranormal of the Pacific Northwest. Join me as I tell stories of this great region, the history, the people who live here, and those who may have never left. As always, thank you for taking the time to listen to this story. I enjoy sharing the history and stories of the Pacific Northwest and hope that you enjoy learning about them too. If you would love for me to post more frequent episodes, please make sure to like, subscribe, and share the show. If you would really love to support, check out our merch on social media. Today we're jumping into a much shorter episode than normal and traveling to the capital of Oregon, Salem, and taking a look at the Elsinore Theater. So grab your sweater, your blanket, and a cup of tea, and let's get started. Salem, Oregon has a rich history dating back to the early 19th century. Originally inhabited by the Kalapuyan people, the area became a focal point for American settlement with Methodist missionary Jason Lee established a mission near the Kalapuyan village of Chemkity in 1841. The settlement was initially called Chemeketa, but in 1846, William Wilson renamed it Salem, derived from the Arabic word salam, meaning peace. Salem quickly grew into an important hub, becoming the seat of Marion County in 1849 and the territorial capital in 1851. It was officially incorporated in 1857 and became the state capital of Oregon by popular vote in 1864. Throughout the 19th century, Salem played a significant role in Oregon's political and economic development. The city was home to influential newspapers, such as the Oregon Statesman, which helped shape territorial politics and still exists today. The constructions of mills along Mill Creek and Pringle Creek contributed to Salem's industrial growth, supporting sawmills, grist mills, and woolen mills. Salem was able to grow into the vibrant city of today due to its location in the Willamette Valley. The Willamette Valley is a lush, fertile region in western Oregon, stretching about 150 miles from Portland in the north to Eugene in the south. It is flanked by the Cascade Range to the east and the Oregon Coast Range to the west, creating a natural basin that has historically been a hub for agriculture, settlement, and industry. The valley has been home to the Native American peoples, particularly the Kalapuyan people, for thousands of years. European settlers arrived in the early 19th century, drawn by the valley's rich soil and abundant resources. The Oregon Trail brought waves of pioneers in the 1840s and beyond, making the Willamette Valley a key destination for westward expansion. Thanks to its volcanic and glacial soils, the valley is one of the most productive agricultural regions in the United States. It's famous for its wine industry, particularly Pinot Noir, earning it the nickname Oregon Wine Country. The valley also produces hazelnuts, berries, hops, and nursery plants, contributing significantly to Oregon's economy. The valley's fertile land was shaped by the Missoula floods during the last ice age. These massive floods deposited nutrient-rich sediments, creating the ideal conditions for farming. Some geologists believe the valley was submerged under 300 to 400 feet of water multiple times before draining away. The Kalapuyan people were the indigenous inhabitants of the Willamette Valley. They lived in autonomous groups, each speaking one of three mutually intelligible dialects of the Kalapuyan language. Their territory stretched across the valley, bounded by the Cascade Range to the east and the Oregon Coast Range to the west. The Kalapuyans were skilled land stewards, using controlled burns to maintain prairies and encourage the growth of camas, a staple food source. They harvested wapato, tarweed seeds, hazelnuts, and acorns, which were processed and stored for winter. Their villages consisted of extended families, and they moved seasonally to gather resources. The arrival of European settlers in the 19th century brought devastating epidemics, including malaria and smallpox, which wiped out over 90% of the Kalapuyan population. By the 1850s, surviving Kalapuyans were forcibly relocated to reservations, primarily the Grand Ronde Reservation, where many of their descendants still live today. The Kalapuyan language, part of the Oregon Penutian language family, is no longer spoken fluently, but efforts are being made to preserve it through language programs. Today, Kalapuyan descendants are part of the Confederated Tribes of Grand Ronde and Confederated Tribes of Siletz, working to keep their cultural heritage alive. The Elsinore Theater in Salem, Oregon is a historic landmark that has stood as a cultural centerpiece for nearly a century. Built in 1926 by George Guthrie, the theater was originally designed as a silent film house and vaudeville venue, bringing entertainment and artistic performances to the heart of the Willamette Valley. The site where the Elsinore now stands was once a livery stable, but Guthrie envisioned something far grander, a place that would transport audiences into a world of drama and spectacle. Inspired by European castles, the theater's architecture reflects the grandeur of Elsinore Castle, the setting of Shakespeare's Hamlet. Its Tudor Gothic design, complete with intricate stained glass and towering stonework, made it one of the most visually stunning theaters in the Pacific Northwest. Upon its opening, it was hailed as the showpiece of the Willamette Valley, drawing crowds eager to experience the magic of live performances and silent films. In 1929, the Elsinore transitioned into a movie theater, operating under Fox Theaters and later Warner Brothers until 1951. However, as television gained popularity and entertainment trends shifted, the theater's prominence began to fade. By the 1950s, attendance declined, and by 1980, the once grand venue faced the threat of demolition. Recognizing its historical and cultural significance, local preservationists formed the Save the Elsinore Committee, the SEC, in the 1980s, rallying the community to raise funds for its restoration. Their efforts paid off, and in 1994, the Elsinore Theater was officially placed on the National Register of Historic Places, solidifying its status as a treasured landmark. Between 2002 and 2004, the theater underwent an extensive $3.4 million restoration, reviving its original splendor while modernizing its facilities for contemporary performances. Today, the Elsinore continues to host concerts, plays, film screenings, and even community events, ensuring that its legacy as a beacon of arts and culture remains alive. With any historic theater, stories of paranormal activity abound, and the Elsinore is no different. Shadows are seen walking across the stage, most of which are attributed to George Guthrie himself. During a rehearsal one day, a man stood in the front row and watched. While this was not out of the norm, as the public often wandered in during rehearsal to watch, what was unusual was that when the man turned and walked out, he walked through the rows of seats. All of the actors and crew present described seeing the same thing. They even searched the theater and found no one. Still, others have felt a calming, even safe male presence watching over them and the theater. Once during a performance, actors on stage were being pelted with pebbles. When crew members went into above the stage to stop whoever was throwing them, they found no one. While some attribute the pebble throwing to Guthrie himself, others think it may have been another entity playing a trick on them. Once, a woman tripped while going down the stairs in the lobby and was seemingly picked up and placed on her feet. About 50 people witnessed the event, and all were astonished. Rumors that a young boy was murdered in the bathroom persist. While there are no reports of actually seeing a little boy, there have been reports of blood appearing on that mirror. While I was unable to find anything to corroborate the story of a young boy being murdered, and this is still a widely perpetuated story. There's another report of Guthrie's daughter reportedly flying to her death off the balcony and her spirit still lingering in the building. Visitors have reported seeing the image of a young girl playing on and around the balcony. However, I couldn't find anything on the death of Guthrie's daughter. As a prominent figure in the community, the untimely death of his child would have made the papers. If you have spent time in a theater for longer than as a spectator, you have most likely felt the incredible energy theaters exude. The amount of people and stories that pass through them make them a sort of airport terminal of lives at all stages. Because of this, theaters are often labeled as haunted. Regardless if the Elsinore is in fact haunted or not, the lasting impact it has had and continues to have on Salem and the surrounding communities has lasted for decades. Thank you for joining me as we explored another amazing area of the Pacific Northwest. If you have stories of your own to share, follow me on social media at ParaNWPod and message or comment on a post. Until next time, bye.